A few months ago, I was leading a small group. Actually, I think it was the end of last year. James McDonald, Think Differently. And it was all about recognizing the disposition that God gave us since we were in our mother's wombs. And he compared like Jacob and Esau throughout the story. And based on our type of disposition that God has given us, there's certain things we're prone to do or struggle with. And he hit this one right on the head for me. And it's always comes out to me because there's self-talk that we'll have, things that we'll say. And mine used to be, when circumstances would come up, it'll never change. I would lose hope or I'd give up because I'd be like, well, it's never going to change. And mostly it was a people relational issue. And that's hopeless. And the word that I got for that was Philippians 1:6, and I am sure of this, that he who began a good work in you will bring it to completion at the day of Jesus Christ. And a lot of times the reason why that thought would come up, and it was so funny because I didn't even know I said it to myself, but it's like after the study, when something came up again that was difficult and I would feel overwhelmed, or I would hear the words, it's just too much, I would tell myself, things will never change. And I didn't even know I had that soundtrack playing. And then one day it was like I said it in my head while in a situation, and I was like, whoa. And I grabbed that thought and I was like, that is not true. God is over this, and what he started, he will complete. It doesn't matter what it looks like right now. And I've experienced where he has done that, where it seemed like, oh, that'll never change, or it'll always be this way, or they will always respond that way. And then sure enough, he has shown I have the ability to transform hearts. I have the ability, I have the power to bring about that change. I can fulfill and finish that good work if you would just be patient. Mm-hmm. So that was the word that I got because of that whole soundtrack of, oh, things are hopeless. They'll never change. It's very interesting, but it's a proven fact that our subconscious guides our actions. And so being very aware of what is going on with your self-talk, it determines outcomes. It really does. And this is an area that I feel like is one that just is a reminder of the word, taking thoughts captive. It's so common that a thought will come and we'll just let it hang out. We'll let it take residence in our head instead of saying, hold on, let me grab hold of that thought and align it with what the truth is, what the truth found in the word is. Does this oppose the knowledge of God, or does it stand firm with it? And a lot of times I find that depending on what's going on, we can have a constant replay of the same soundtrack. So just taking that thought captive and aligning it and finding your word that helps you in that situation. And for me, one of the common things that I would hear myself saying once I became aware that the soundtrack was even going was that things will never change. And then that took me to Philippians 1:6, which I shared with the ladies at the table, and that is that he that began the good work is faithful to complete it. And that's the thought that I want to replace the negativity with.
Can you speak to any other maybe tracks, self-talk tracks that you have had? I know you shared a little bit about your health.
Yeah.
Or health issues, maybe not your health, but maybe health issues in your family or situations. Can you talk a little bit?
Yes. Not my personal health, but just the health of members that I know, especially leading a group of women, and then also family members, just being overwhelmed with the idea of not having the solution or not seeing the healing or the breakthroughs. There can be that self-thought or self-talk of it's overwhelming. I don't know what to do. And that can be very defeating. But instead, taking that thought again captive and lining it up to what we know to be the truth, and that God is all-knowing, and that I don't have to know the end result. I don't have to have all the answers, but I can just faithfully come and trust him. But again, just not letting that thought perpetuate every single time that it comes up, but saying stop to that thought and not letting it go any further.